Hello, I am Meshell Baker, the Chief Confidence Igniter, and welcome to another week of Mondays with Meshell. If you missed last Monday, it was a really popular one, the paradox of disrespect, all about how there's no such thing as disrespect. That's all I'll say. If you want to know more, check it out. This week is the what's wrong with being right. And this topic is another one of those subjects where it offers a perspective for people to understand that there is always another option versus wrong or right. And the only thing that really truly happens when your desire is that you ensure that someone else feels wrong. And that generally does not create any kind of collaboration, community, connection, any type of cohesiveness between people. And that's the goal. If you want to create expansion, if you're an entrepreneur or professional and you want to have better business relationships that offer more opportunities, then the desire is to go to that third option. We'll talk about that later. First, I want to just talk about that desire to be right that creates. So when you or another person, what'll generally happen is your brain will kick out the amygdala, will kick out some cortisol, and that's what creates the fight. It's the freeze, flight, or fawn. So what happened is that person, when they're in fight mode, you got to be right. And everybody has had this out of body experience. I'll admit, I've had it in my case where at the end of the conversation or walking away, I almost felt bad or guilty, like, what just happened? Why was I so adamant? Why was I just so hell-bent on making that person understand my point of view? And seriously, it's because of the neurotransmitter cortisol kicks in. So you'll either fight your position or you'll freeze, meaning that you just stop talking because you can't think anymore and you just shut down and you just look at them, right? It's the deer in headlights response. Or the flight, where the flight is that you just stop, you go, whatever, I don't care. So you're just disengaging, and you don't want to be wrong or right. You're just disengaging completely from the conversation. And the fawn is that you lean in and that you actually decide that you're going to overly agree with them. Yes, you're right. You know what? I'm wrong. You're wrong. I'm right. So all of these are part of imposter syndrome. All of these, nothing in this, the person who has to be right and the person who's feeling wrong, nobody walks away a winner in this. And the third option is actually to engage in a conversation where you begin to ask questions, where you begin to actually experience it in yourself. You'll feel it in your body. You'll feel this energy in your body, the desire to be right. And I have done this where I've actually stopped and said, and I teach this when I'm speaking, when I'm facilitating, when I'm coaching, when you feel it, stop and readjust. Realign to the conversation. If you need be, acknowledge that you were fighting to be right. You know what? Hey, I just realized that I was so focused on being right that I forgot what our original conversation was. Can we have a reset? Can we talk about this from a different perspective? I would love to see if we can come up, because the two of us, we're brilliant. Why don't we co-create and collaborate and see what we can create that's not right or wrong? Because both of those, right or wrong, means that it's in tradition or the past. Let's create something that doesn't currently exist. And that's powerful when you can do that. And when you do that, that's when you go into your creative mind. That's when you're collaborative. So you're kicking in your dopamine and your oxytocin. Right there, that's when it's the warm, fuzzy, people walk away win, and the mind is expanding. So now you've got your mind expanding, the other person or parties involved, you guys are creative. That's when innovation happens. Things that never existed before come to life when people begin to agree. You don't find agreements in the right or wrong arguments. And if you're in relationships with people, the saying is, would you rather be right or would you rather be happy? Right? And this is, again, acknowledging that there has to be a better way. Obviously, what we're talking about didn't work, so let's create something that does work. So I give this to you today to really think about your positioning. Next time you're talking or you're going throughout this week, look and listen to your body. Listen and feel your body where the desire is to be right. And you don't necessarily need to change in that moment. However, I want you to start to assess and be aware of what's happening and go back and do a gameplay. Sit down with yourself at the end of the day and go, where did I need to be right? And how did that help me? How did that leave that other person better off for having spent time with me? How did that leave the person I was working with or collaborating with or communicating with feeling better about themselves? Remember, your goal is someone who is confident and someone who is igniting that confidence in others is people will feel better for having people will feel better about themselves for having spent time with you. So again, what's wrong with being right is it doesn't leave anybody feeling great. This is Meshell Baker. I am the Chief Confidence Igniter. I am a transformational keynote speaker and a confident living catalyst. If this has been impactful to you and is something you want to discuss further for yourself, your team, or your organization, look below, schedule time with me, DM me, email me, and let's have a conversation. And have a great week collaborating, creating community, and being creative in your connections. See you all next week.